So we have a question from the audience. This comes from Dr. Mark Bixby, who's at North Memorial and affiliated with the University of Minnesota. And he writes that as a primary care medical director and medical school admissions committee member, what skill sets, abilities, attitudes, interests should we be looking for as we choose medical students who will be tomorrow's doctors? And I'm going to broaden that just a little bit too. Let's like healthcare providers, our physician assistants, our nurse practitioners, our pharmacists. Let's think about that for a minute. And you mentioned earlier sort of the engineering mindset, but I'm curious, like what are we going to be looking for tomorrow's healthcare providers?
I would start by saying I think that they have to have a quantitative side. So it doesn't really matter what the major is or this, but at some level, some basic understanding of quantitative proficiency, whether it's in math and or physics or science, statistics. Thank you. That shows that they have an aptitude because that is their new world. That being said, the second thing I'd be looking for is a sense of humor, because change will be the constant. And if they don't have a sense of humor, they're going to burn out like we see a lot of other folks, and just to be able to sort of roll with it. We all feel like there's been so much change in the last 25 years. I don't think we can imagine what the next 25 years is like.
Thank you.
Riffing off the idea of change, I would look for people who are comfortable with maximum ambiguity. They're not going to be a settling in the next so many years. It's going to be constant change. I would almost ask them questions that have no answer and have fail type of answers and ask them how they would deal with it. I work with engineers all the time, and they really want boom, 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 here's the answer. And I explain to them, healthcare doesn't work like that. We work on incomplete data, leaps of faith. That'll become less true, but the ambiguity and the data sources and the veracity of those data, even that genomic data, which I think gives me a conclusion, is it accurate? Is it right? Am I going to think that conclusion is completely wrong in 3 years? I have to be able to go forward even knowing the ambiguity is there. So how do they deal with that?
Right.
As a non-clinician, I'm probably not qualified to answer this question well, but I think I would certainly look for people who are comfortable with technology, to your point. But I think I would also look for people who have empathy, who want to connect with people, whether that be face-to-face or whether that be through technology. I think having an ability to connect, I think would still be very, very important in the practice of medicine.
I think certainly the ability to think and intuit in the right direction, critical. I think having an empathetic side is critical. But I think that the entrepreneurial side of things, the ability to flex with the change and to be able to kind of roll with new models, as with anything, I think that our maturity models for anything that are going to be coming out over the next 10, 20, 40 years, those maturity models are going to be much shorter in temper and timing. So I think that we're going to see a time where we're going to need to be able to kind of roll really fast, rather than kind of going, well, for the last 40 years, this is the way that we've done it. And I think that, whether that's talking about it as a change agent or whether that's just saying, hey, look, we got to be able to figure stuff out a whole lot faster. That's one of the big flares that I would be looking for now.
Well, thank you. As a moderator, I'll throw in my little last thought too, and I think that it was Steve Jobs who I think said that Apple, in its DNA, it was sort of liberal arts meeting technology, and I think that kind of gets at this. And I love when I have young medical students or pre-meds who have this just sense of curiosity, and I think that helps drive a lot of this and answers a lot of the questions that we're exploring. Well, thank you so much for joining us here at the Mill City Innovation and Collaboration Center in Minneapolis. I'd like to give one final round of applause for all of our panelists on the far end. Dr. Mark Blatt, Anya Gupta from the Boston Consulting Group, Reed Oakes, and next to me, Dr. Dinan Vojta from the United Health Group, and I'm John Hallberg. Thanks so much.